TikTok. Jim Malone here. It's Dallas Trading Floor. Also, hello to everybody on Facebook, on Periscope at pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor. Also on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dallas Trading Floor. And on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is an interesting day. I liquidated my position in Tesla today, so it's kind of going to be an interesting show. So here we go. Basically, where we're at today is that we are in a confirmed uptrend. Again, we're in a confirmed uptrend. And the NASDAQ is up 0.22%. Both the S&P is up, the Dow Jones, everything's up. So it's kind of an interesting. I mean, we're continuing on this climb, and it's it's significant because we have been moving up really since since the beginning of August. So we shall see. Normally, this is the doldrums. They call the summer doldrums, and normally it is not as powerful. But I think because of the potential split for Tesla and for Apple, Apple is moving up today, as it is the day of record for Apple, the 24th of August. You seem to be moving higher, so this is kind of a interesting thing. We're doing very well. Basically, the spider is more powerful than I've ever seen it. It tends to be bunched up mostly, but still doing very well. It's up $2 today, 201 when this slide was taken, and so there you go. This is, by the way, the largest held ETF in the world. Now the volume has been moving down a little bit, but it is still very healthy today. We have 2 blue bars in a row, so that means that basically on the daily chart we were up yesterday and we're up so far today. So don't count this one out. It looks like we may actually be going higher. It seems like people are voting with their wallets, and well, that's the way it's going. So it's moving up. So don't be short of the market. The Qs are still the story. For some, there hasn't been a pullback. I do kind of expect that there's going to be a pullback on the Qs, but so far so good. I mean, it's been up literally the last 3 of the 5 days, and so wow, it's really good. It's very unusual to see the indexes go up more than about 4 or 5 out of days, but it has definitely been moving up. So there you go. So mostly I think this is in the action. People are getting in on the Apple split, which is a 4-for-1 split, of course, and they're getting in on the Tesla split. Now, I did sell out today on a pullback, but maybe I did it too early. Who knows? I sold at 1993, and I'm waiting to come back in after the split, because typically the way that works is that we'll trade down after the split, and and it goes from there. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do. But I did sell out today at the beginning of the day. Just wanted to give you a sort of a trading idea here. This is a 5G stock that I believe is going to move much higher. The question is how high. How high is high? I don't know, but it's right now. This is absolutely in a buy zone right now. It's called Skyworks, and it is a 5G phone, and it will benefit greatly from the rollout of the Apple iPhone, which is coming on probably on the 21st or so, maybe 22nd of September. So that's an important date for Apple, but it's also an important date for the suppliers. And there are several really good suppliers in there that you might want to look at. Another one is Broadcom. It's kind of an expensive stock. Also, NVIDIA. NVIDIA may be a little bit pullback. It has moved up so much. I just don't know if it can go higher, but you never know. The reason Skyworks, I like Skyworks so much, is because it's bouncing off of that 50-day moving average, and of course that's an excellent place to buy something in this kind of a motion. It does look like it's probably going to head a little bit higher, at least until the 21st. So hopefully I'm right on that. We have what they call a golden cross. The 50-day has moved above the 200-day. That's very bullish. Also, you have a relative strength on this of 99. I guess it's, no, I'm sorry, excuse me, not 99. I wish it was 99. It's 90. That is excellent. Typically, I like to buy stocks that are at least an 80 or better. By the way, for everybody looking on TikTok, I'm actually showing these charts online on YouTube. So if you could jump over to YouTube, that would be great. So you can see what I'm talking about. It's at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So there we go. Okay, so now I just kind of want to show you my revised holdings. As you can see, wow, there's a big gap there. I am not holding Tesla. I sold it all. I sold it all this morning, so there you go. But I am holding an Apple. When I took this slide, it was trading at $4.99. So hopefully that'll hold up. Interestingly enough, I'm also out of Corvo. That shows here, but I'm actually sold that. I sold that on Friday. So really, I'm only in Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Dollar General. So not a very large number of stocks. I am getting my powder ready to go and do something hopefully bigger as well. By the way, if you want to sign up for Flash Trade Alerts, super duper easy. All you have to do, go to www.dallastradingfloor.com and just put your name in there with your email, and you'll be on the list. And it's totally free, by the way, with Dallas Trading Floor. So there we go. So let's open it up for some questions. Thanks. Hey, hi, how are you? Okay, great. Oop, yep, there we go. Thank you. Happy Monday. Let's look at CBay. Okay, CBay. Okay, well, let's look at CBay. 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 Okay, let's see if we got what we got for CBay here. Interesting. Okay, so this is okay. Well, let's see if we can look at CBay. And I'm taking a little bit of time to bring up the charts here, but it should come up here in a second. And that's CBAY. Oops, CBAY. Well, let's look at CBAY. Bay Therapeutics. Wow. Okay, this is kind of an interesting chart. Let me show you the chart up close and personal. Here we go. Let's look at this chart. It's a relatively inexpensive stock, under $10, $6.36 currently is the price on it. There is a pivot on it, by the way. The pivot that I have on this one is $4.95. So CBAY's pivot, there we go, CBAY, and the pivot is $4.95. Okay, well, it looks like it's a bit extended, but this is such a low price stock, it's really hard to to look at this one really with that in mind. One thing is good, the 50 day is above the 200 day. That's excellent. We just went through earnings, so that's good. But let me just check something really quick here. I just kind of want to check to see, what the situation is with earnings, because I want to check some of the fundamentals on this one, just for fun here. CBAY. Let's go with the. All right, so it's down today. Okay, it's just come through earnings. Let's look at some of the fundamentals on CBAY. Here we go. It's in the medical biotech group. This is a tough group, by the way, to buy in, because there's so many companies. They're very binary. The stocks are very binary in this one group. But it's come through earnings. It looks like it did fairly well. It seems to have fairly good, it's got a very good accumulation by funds. So, I don't know. This is a watch list, probably. It's a relatively small market cap of 439. I know that sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. Anything under about $1 billion is kind of a small market cap. It's been trading. It's been wide range of trading today. It's near its high. That's good. PE ratio 42. Okay. Well, just depends on how many of the funds are in this one. So let's take a look to see what the situation is with the number of funds. I kind of want to look at this, because this is the really critical thing when you're in the bios. Okay, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Well, it's got a. Interesting. Okay, so it's got. CBAY. Okay, what am I looking at? Okay, let me look at that. CBAY. So I just want to look to see kind of where we're at in terms of CBAY. I'm still waiting for waiting for the thing to draw up here. So, by the way, while I'm watching to try to get this, just wanted to show you easy way to get my free trade alerts. It's DallasTradingFloor.com, and it's super easy to get on there. And I do send out action trade alerts. I'm probably going to be sending out some this week on how we're going to trade Apple and Tesla, because I'm going to probably be back in Tesla after the split. And of course, the split is going to happen on the 28th, but the day of record was Friday. That's part of the reason it moved up so quickly. We might see the same thing in Apple. Who knows? I did go back in Apple. I sold my Tesla in the small portfolio, and then I did buy some. I buy some Apple, try to get some of that. But let me show you how CBay ranks in terms of everything, and I just want to show you that. It is not, unfortunately, it is not in the top 4, and I typically like to go with the top 4. So you might, instead of going with CBay, why not look at GMAB? I think this one is a better bet for you. I have been watching this one. This is a Dutch, I think it's a Dutch company on this. No, Denmark. I'm sorry, Denmark, Dutch. This is what I think you want to be looking at. This has a little bit better chart than the other. And now it's a more expensive stock, but I think you're going to do better with this one. So this is the one I would recommend. GMAB is the one I would recommend. So that is kind of where, instead of going with the other is okay. It's setting up, but, I think that GMAB may be the way to go. All right. So let's look at it. Okay. Okay. Oh, green power motor. Green power motors. Well, you know what? I don't know. Let me think about that one. What's ARK Invest going to do in the coming days? Don't know. I don't have any insider. I am the man with no insider information on anything. I have no insider information. I just want to be very clear about that. I am just a trader, and I don't have any insider information. I am not an insider at all on anything. But yeah, there was a big hit on Tesla today, and why was there a big hit? Well, it's hard to say why anything happens, but the reason I think it was, and just for to be a full disclosure, I sold out my position this morning, and I sold it on a pullback, and this is something that a lot of people. It's pulled back a tad. Yeah, let's analyze the chart of Tesla. It's still trading very, very well, though. It's still trading very, very well. Look at that. It's pulled back. It's pulled back quite a little bit. It's at 2004. It's down about $45. And that's not that surprising that it would, because it ran up very heavily on the day of record, which was on Friday. And so this morning, I was still in the stock this morning, and I was out by 9:30 on a pullback. And what I did is, what I typically do is that when I'm in a stock like this, I will move my stop loss up until when it pulls back, then I'm sold out. It's very hard to call very hard to call the peak on anything. But I will be back into Tesla, but I won't be back in probably until September 3rd or 4th. And why? Because it's going to come through, it's going to split, and the stocks will trade down a little bit. And then as they start to trade back up, I'll be back in to Tesla. But thank you very much for that comment. I do appreciate it. And this is why, folks, it's so important to set those stop losses. When you start out, you set them at 7% down from where you bought it. And then as the stock moves up, especially if it's in a crescendo, for instance, with Tesla, it was a crescendo, you just keep on moving that stop loss up. And then when you get a pullback, well, you're going to be making those profits. So that's a good thing. All right. What is ARK Invest going to do in the coming days? You know what? I don't know. I think they're going to hold on. ARK Invest is a longer term investor than I am. I am, kind of a Johnny on the spot kind of guy. I'm in a stock. I'm loving a stock when it's going up, and then I kind of lose interest when it pulls back. So I'm not losing interest in Tesla. I still think Tesla has legs, but that's kind of how I am. I'm sort of, very fickle when it comes to that. So I like to run the stocks up, push my stop loss, let them come back, and sell out. So I can't say what ARK Invest is going to do, but I do think, Kathy Woods, who is the who runs ARK Invest, is a very smart investor, super duper smart investor. She says basically that, on a split basis, Tesla could be as high potentially as as 45. So, I mean, as 7,000. So now on a split adjusted basis, of course, that would equate to about 1,050 on the split basis. But I don't think it's going to go that high. I think what's going to happen is we're going to pull it back. We're going to probably split anywhere from 2,000 to 2,100, and that's going to be the price before the split. It's going to come and it's going to split 5 for 1, and we're going to be in about the $375 to $400 range. I'll probably be in the stock if it pulls back to about 350 when on about the 3rd of September. That's what I expect. And when I think that's going to happen, that's when I'll be back in, buying again. So I'm, buying on the way up and then selling and then buying on the way up and selling. So this is why you always want to try to buy a stock at near its high, because typically it's going to go higher. This is, when you do this, it's interesting. People say buy on the dips, but it can be very dangerous because when it reverses on you, it can go very lower. So that's why you always set your stop losses. And so here's the next question from TikTok, which I love, by the way. I'm now making money off TikTok. Eastman Kodak, what do you think happens there? Well, you know what? Eastman Kodak is one of those companies that, it really could use a better management. They they got this big contract from the government, and they're just screwing it up. So I wouldn't be in Eastman Kodak. I just don't think that. First of all, I don't think they stayed too long in the chemical film business. There's so many problems with not Tesla, but with Eastman Kodak. I think it's it's buying yesterday's car today, the kind of thing. It's sort of buying a great technology company of 30 years ago. I mean, hey, I loved Eastman Kodak. I still, I loved, I actually developed photos and it was tremendous. But, it's sort of buying yesterday's news. So I wouldn't be very interested in it right now, just because I don't think it's going to be all that great. Okay, I have a question from Harris. He says, hi, Jim. What about Green Power Motors? I've never heard of Green Power Motors, but let me see if I can find out more about it. Green Power Motors. There's going to be a lot of Me Too companies when it comes to electric vehicles. So I think you got to be really careful out there. There's going to be a lot of okay, is it Ballard? Okay, it's Ballard. No, this one might actually be good. There's a company out there called Ballard, which made okay, yeah, BLDP. That's the new symbol for it. BLDP. This is actually potentially a good company, because Ballard actually has some experience making electric buses. So BLDP. The problem in the electric vehicle business right now is there's so many pretend companies. This is not a stellar chart, but it's not a bad chart. So I want to kind of show this one to you, Harris. I don't know if this is exactly the one you're talking about, but this is called Ballard Power Systems. And Ballard Power Systems is a company that has a lot of experience making electrified buses. And that one of the things I like about Ballard, just happening to know, it's not a great stock, but it's not a bad stock either. One of the things I know about Ballard is that Ballard has decent battery technology. The electric car business basically all revolves around battery technology. And right now, the world leader is Tesla. It really is, hands down. They have more capacity and they have better quality. But Ballard is one that has been in the business probably longer than anyone, and there's some strong buying activity here. It's not a composite rating that I would really like. I'd like to watch this I'd like to watch list this one, but I don't think it's buyable right now. But at 1658, it's definitely worth putting on a watch list, because this battery technology is going to be a big deal. So that's kind of where I'd go with this one in that field. So, but I really thank you for the question. Here's the problem with buying Me Too companies, and there's going to be a lot of Me Too companies in this space because it's just getting so much interest, and that is, you got to be careful. Companies like NIO, and I know that people want to be in these companies. They saw what Tesla did, and they just want to buy that lottery ticket. But be really careful, because here's the thing in the stock market: you pay for quality. The more quality that you buy, typically, the better off you are. It's not like going to Dollar General, which, by the way, is one of my stocks. If you don't buy it's difficult buying bargains in the stock market because you're dealing against the professional investors. So that's kind of where you got to be careful. All right. So next question is about F5G. FIVG. I don't know this one. Let me see. Let me see this one real quick. FIVG. FIVG. Okay. So, all right. Oh, okay. This is the fund. Okay. Yeah. Oh, not bad. This is okay. Okay, it's ETF. Okay. Yeah, this isn't bad. Okay. I didn't realize the. This is a very interesting way, and thank you very much. This is a very good way of playing it with a fund as opposed to trying to pick any of the winners. There's an advantage in doing this. It's sort of like in the biotechs. Another way to play the biotechs is with this fund called the IBB, and I think this is a very good suggestion, by the way, for playing the 5G, the whole 5G thing, and I think it's really good. This is not a bad chart, by the way. It's got a 77 relative strength. That's not bad. It's got a high ownership. Yeah, I think this is definitely a watch list. I would like to see a little bit more about this. Let me see if I can bring a better chart up here to see if I can see a better chart on this one. But this is a good way to play it here. This is definitely a good way to play it with 5G. So FIVG. So okay. Well, it's not letting me. Golly, I am continuing to have problems. Yeah, I'm just having. All right. Let's see if I can pause on that site. Okay. Let's see if I can get back in here. Having some issues with my browser, unfortunately. Not letting me in. All right. So that was very good. Okay. So let's take the next question. Hey, what's your opinion on the stocks Ken and Alt? Ken and Alt. I've never heard of those. It sounds like something related to, I don't know. Let's look at Ken. Ken, let's look at that. Okay, Kindred Biosciences. Again, this is a tough area. This is a tough area to look in. Okay, because it's so binary in this area of oh darn it. Okay. I'm having trouble with my IBD here. It's not letting it's jazzing me up here, so hopefully we'll get back in here. So I apologize for that. Oh, wait a minute. It's giving me the wrong thing. It's really bad today. Okay. Well, all right, let me see if I can bring up something here. Hold on. Yeah, it's just not letting me in. All right, so let's see if I can get into this one here. So let me see if it gives me anything. So while we're waiting for that, I just wanted to bring up here how you can get on the action trade alerts, and that hopefully will work better than my charts are working today. And that's easy. You just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. So let's look at Kindred Bio here. I'm going to bring up the chart for Kindred Bio. And this is a horrible chart. I wouldn't buy this thing. Not to be, not to be dismissive, but this is not a chart you want to buy. This goes from the top left-hand side to the lower right-hand side. It's got a relative strength of 3. That means that basically 97% of everything else is doing better than this. Don't buy this thing. It's horrible. Bye-bye. Don't waste your time. Please, don't waste your time on this one. Now, let's see if we have another one. The other one was, okay. So that was pretty bad. Okay. So let's see. Got stomped out of 2001. What if okay. This is great. This is great. This is great interest. you did the right thing by having a stop loss in there. Here's what I would recommend on something, and this is exactly what happened to me. I do think it's good that you are got stop loss because you retained your earnings. So let's look at that 15-minute chart of Tesla, how it is trading, and I'm going to show you that right now. So finally got my charts back. There has been an awful lot of it's been moving from basically 2,000 to 2,100, settling at about 2,000. So it's really good. What I would do on this one is I would wait until after it splits, and then I would be back into the stock probably on about the 3rd of September. And why do I pick that date? Well, part of the reason I picked that date is because that date is going to be the date that you're going to see it probably start to trade up once again, because what's going to happen is it's going to move, and then it's then going to move up, and then it will trade down a little bit. So let me just kind of give you an idea here, and this is sort of my trading plan, and this is from a prior Dallas trading floor that we did, just kind of give you an idea of where we are in the cycle and how to trade Tesla coming through this. So I want to show you this. I want to show you kind of where we are and where we're going with Tesla. So here we go. This is where we are currently with Tesla. We were right about at the peak. We're right about the peak. So the fact that you sold out and it went up a little bit higher, well, that's not really that much of a problem, because I think we're right about at the peak. We're right about number 4 here. Now part of the reason it peaked was because Friday, the 21st, was the day of record. So you had to be on the day of record in order to get the split. So there was a lot of people coming into the stock in Friday, and a lot of people did kind of come in after the fact on Monday. So I do believe we're getting close to the peak now. And it may actually it may trade a little bit higher, but basically after the 28th is when Tesla is going to be split. So it's gonna go up to this peak, and then it's gonna come down. Let me kind of show you sort of where we're gonna go in terms of that. And so and this gives you an opportunity for potentially buying it at a good price now that you're stopped out. It's going to move up. We're at 4 right now. It's going to move up, and then right after the split, it's probably going to move down. Now, with Tesla, there's a lot of demand, so this might be very quick. Typically, this process takes at least a week to 2 on a split. Well, I believe that it's going to happen a little bit quicker on Tesla just because it's so in demand. I think we're going to see it probably it's going to trade down probably from Monday to about Wednesday or Thursday, and then I think it's going to start trading up. As it starts to trade up, that's when you want to buy it, and that's when we want to get it in. Now, where will the low be? Who knows? I don't know where the low is going to be, but I suspect it'll probably be on Tuesday or Wednesday or possibly early Thursday, and that will be probably September 3rd, I think, is going to be a good day. That's probably where I expect it to be. And then I think it is going to move higher. So excellent question regarding Tesla and how it is potentially going to trade. Do you have a buy point for Skyworks? Well, let's see. I just put Skyworks on. I just put Skyworks on. So it's it's going to be an interesting one. I wouldn't go in with more than a half or full position on this, because it is, it's not a Tesla. No way is it that. But it's still really good because it's one of the important stocks for the 5G. So we're going to see some interest in that. So let me see if I can get you this chart. KWS. Okay, so this is going to give us, hopefully, well, if I can get it right, it will. SWKS. Let me see. Come on, baby. SWKS. Well, come on. Let's see if I give me a daily chart on that one. Daily. There we go. Finally. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry it took so long to get that up. It should have gotten it very more quickly. The buy point, there isn't really a buy point on this one, okay? Because this is basically not in a really superb formation, not as good as the other ones I've given you, but the buy point is basically the pullback to the 50-day moving average. So really, this one, let's take a look. It's really in a buy zone right about now. The buy point on this one is 138.22. So I'm going to put that up on the comments section, and that's SWKS buy point equals $138. How much? 138? Yeah. Okay. 138.22. There we go. Get this to work. 138.22. Okay. And we'll post it up on the chat. All right. So basically, that's where it is. Now, remember, with a buy point, it's the buy point times 1.05. That's going to give you the range that is buyable in. Now, one thing I do like about this is that it's got a lot of fund ownership. That's good at 44%. Very nice. It's also very important in the transmission towers for the new 5G thing. And so it's going to be a very big deal. And I think Skyworks might be good. Now, I suspect this is going to be good for about a month or so as we're coming into the big announcement for the 5G iPhone, which is going to happen on about September 23rd or thereabouts. September 23rd. I don't know exactly the date, but it's going to be the third week of September because that's when Apple always announces its new products. So that's a big day for them. And it's also going to be a big day for the other ones. Okay, so I want to answer the next question. You want information on alt. Now, remember, Ken wasn't too good, but let's try alt, A-L-T, to see if there's anything there worth looking at. Oh, well, that's a little better chart. That's a little better chart. It's not terrible. It's not a terrible chart, but it is not where I would buy it. I wouldn't buy this thing at least until okay, there he is. There's the mark. Okay, it's going to bounce off the 20-day. It's buyable at 33.39 definitely. And it looks like it is going to hold the 50-day the 40-day moving average. You know, it's possibly buyable right now at 21. But I'd be a little bit leery on this one. It's very strong though, 99 relative strength. So it looks very, very strong. I want to see this move higher before I would buy it. I would probably be in this at about 33. I would say I would want to see at least I want to see at least move to 33. It's currently trading at 22. So this is definitely a watch list stock. You don't want to buy this thing until it's shown some more strength and it bounces off the 50-day moving average. But thank you for that one. That's a much better stock than Ken. That's a much, much better stock than Ken. So I just thought I would bring that up. So let's take a question from TikTok. I bought Apple. What's your opinion? Very good, because I bought Apple today too. I like Apple a lot. So I like it because today is the day of record for Apple, AAPL. And for everybody out there, I'm sure you probably know this, you've heard it a million times, but Apple is now one of the largest stocks in the world. Just amazing. Let's look at the weekly chart of Apple, and I'll pull it up right now. Boy, look at that thing. It's just going right up. It's going in a cup, and then it's moving right up. Boy, it doesn't really get much better than this in terms of a chart. So we have a 96 rating. This is the biggest company in the world. It's trading. It closed at 503. Now, where's it going to go from here? I don't know. But I suspect it may pull back a bit. But I do think that it's going to follow essentially the same pattern that Tesla does. It's going to trade up into the split. The split is going to happen on the 27th. So the 28th, excuse me. It's going to happen on the 28th. Now, this was the last day to be day of record. So a lot of buying happened today. There was a buying frenzy on Apple because people know that they want to get that stock dividend. Now, I don't think it's all that important to get the stock dividend, and here's why I don't think it is. Because the stock will tend to run up in the stock dividend, and then when the stock, basically basically splits, then a lot of people are going to sell off their are going to sell off their shares. So let me kind of show you how that works on the chart. Apple is essentially almost mirroring exactly with the Tesla chart. The interesting thing is there's a lot more shares of Apple than there are Tesla, and the company is a lot bigger. But I do believe we're moving up into this sort of upward motion where it says 4 here, and then when it's probably going to reach its peak probably by the end of the week. I think maybe Thursday. I don't know if I'll be in it through this, but I'll be only with part of my shares. I've already pre-sold part of mine, but when it comes through, then I probably will be a buyer, probably on about September 3rd or so. So I think if you hold on to it, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. You probably can make a little bit more money if you buy it up into the split and then sell it and then come back in and buy it in again. But I think you're going to be very, very happy with buying Apple, because I think it's just one of those great stocks. It's one of those great stocks. Question: when would you buy Blink back? Well, let's look at Blink. Blink is a cool one. I made some money on Blink, as you probably all well know. It is, it's a small company, but it is got a good kind of story. Let's look at Blink. It looks like it is moving back up again, so we might be able to get a double dip here. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, it is. I wouldn't buy it. Wouldn't be back at now. As you probably know, I sold out at about 12. I think it's 12.25. I have to look at the sheet to see exactly where I sold out at. But as you can see, we topped, and then we're coming back down. Now we have moved right to the 50-day moving average. So it looks like people are buying it off this line. So this is not a bad place to be buying it. Right now the buy point. Okay, it's at 807. I would wait until it shows strength. I would wait until it's at least at 855 or better to rebuy it. But I do think that it might come back in. You want to be a little bit careful with this, because these stocks that are small like this can be very tricky when it comes to that, because of the limited float on them. But let me see where I sold that one. I just want to check myself, and let me just see where I sold it. Okay, bringing up the small portfolio. Okay, let's see. I sold that one. Let me just check. I sold Blink at 11.20. I didn't get it all the way up there. I didn't get all the way to the top, but I did pretty good considering it's selling at 8 right now. So I got pretty much most of the money on that one. So that's pretty good. But yeah, that's Blink. I think it might be a good point to go a little bit later into it, but right now I think it's too low. I think it's at very best it's a watch list, and there you go. So GPVRF. Wow, that's a lot of letters. So that sounds like a penny stock to me. Let's see, GPVRF. Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't have that. It doesn't appears to be one. GPVRE. No, RF. I'm sorry. I put it wrong. No, it doesn't appear. That one doesn't appear. I'm sorry. That's probably a pink slip stock or a penny stock or something like that. So I need probably most stock symbols have only 4 letters on them. So most of the bigger ones do. Sometimes they only have one, like Ford or Agilent. Agilent is A. So sometimes they're like that. Why the early sale of Tesla? Why? Because I had my stop loss, and I had my stop loss set, and I wanted to capture all that profit because it may pull back a little bit before the peak. But yeah, I set my stop loss at 1993, and sure enough, at 9:35 this morning, it pulled back to that, and that's where I sold. So that's exactly how I sell them. What I do is I get in the stock, I watch it move up, and then I push my stop loss up, and then when it snaps back, I'm sold out. Now, do I always get it at the top? Well, no, but I do pretty well by doing it that way. So I'll be probably back in and after the after the split. So I bought Apple. What's your opinion? My opinion's good on Apple. Kodak, okay. Thoughts on SE? I don't know why SE is so popular, but this is an interesting company. This is a Singaporean company, and it seems to do really well. And it's marching right up the line. So, yeah, I'm not in this one, but it's certainly, the chart has been certainly really good on this one. So, and it's marching right up the 50-day moving average. So, you can't argue with this. You can't argue. Up $2.96 today. Definitely a watch list. It's very interesting. It's a internet platform. I don't know a lot about the stock, but it's got an excellent chart, and it's one that I can't find any real problems with. It just seems like it's a chart that just keeps moving higher. It looks a lot like Tractor Supply. That's another one that kind of just moves higher. It doesn't base, and it just moves higher right along the 50-day moving average. So I can't really say anything bad about this. It looks really good. That's a good chart. Thanks. All right. So let's see. BAC, Bank America. Bank of America. Bank of America. Boy, I wish that Bank of America were better than it is, but it's pretty bad, and this is a Warren Buffett stock. Warren Buffett, some of his stocks haven't done that great. Now, he is the single largest owner of Apple, so that's one he's done pretty well on. Bank of America, not so much. The problem with Bank of America, the problem in this environment is we have an environment where interest rates are very, very low, and so the bank stocks, even the best ones, just don't look that good. You would never want to buy a stock when the 50-day is below the 200-day. It just doesn't pay. It just doesn't pay to do it that way. So, I think I'm sad for people that are in Bank of America. I don't think it's that good. I think it may break below the, and this is really bad. I mean, it's already below the 200-day, and it may break below the 50-day. And if it does, well, that's not so good. It did move up a little bit today, so there's a little bit of strength, a little bit of bounce off the 50-day. I just couldn't buy this one, though. None of the banks I like. The only thing in the financial sector I like is PayPal. That's about it. So not something I want to buy. So sorry about that. Okay, so let's see. What about Wayfair? All right, Wayfair is cool stock too. They are, I wouldn't have thought an online furniture company could make money, but boy, they've certainly done good. There's a little bit of a pullback today, but it's a fairly good looking chart. So let's look at the weekly to see if there's any buy points on this. Wow. Okay, well, the last buy point was a while ago, and it was at 151.20. Let me show you that chart. That was the last buy point. Wow, it's 337. I just don't see a buy point here, but I can't fault the chart. They had very good earnings. They've had very good as they're up 113%. I guess with this COVID thing, it's the way to buy furniture these days. But here's the thing. It definitely don't, this is the kind of stock that it looks like it may be buyable right now, because you never want to buy a stock like this going into earnings. You want to wait until after the earnings to see if it's moved back a little bit. It's pulled back just slightly, not a lot, but it still has very good strength. So the strength is well above, is right at the 50-day moving average line. So that's very good. And so there's a lot of interest in this stock. I mean, the funds are 85% in this. So they must see something here tremendous. So this is a great stock. This is one definitely you want to watch those. So I definitely think it's excellent. Now, the last buy point I have on it though is fairly low. I mean, it's a long time ago. It's back in December. The last buy point on it basically was, it was 151.20, and that was 22 weeks ago. So it's a ways back there. But it's just seemed to move right up. Wow. So very cool. Very, very cool. Rocket Mortgage. Okay, this is a new one, I think. This is old, Quicken Mortgage. You remember them? I think they're finally getting out from under. They're kind of gotten bigger than they're the number one, as far as I know. They're the biggest mortgage company in the world now. I mean, in terms of volume. And it's old Quicken Loans. This is an IPO. This isn't, it's really tough to buy IPOs right out of the gate. Let me show you the chart. It's a weekly chart. It's only been out 3 weeks. So, well, this is the 4th week it's out. So it's really, really too early. You need to really have these things seasoned for about 3 months. So, the thing to do here is the chart looks fairly, very good. But again, it's just there's not enough to go on here. It's got a relative strength of 86, excuse me, which for a financial company is stellar, to be honest with you. It's just not ready to buy it yet. It's just too new in the market. But hopefully I will be giving you some insight on how IPOs trade, because they have a very distinctive chart pattern, and I'm not going to go over it today because it's a little bit of a discussion, but the IPOs have a very distinctive chart pattern. I wouldn't buy this one. Thank you, Arnold, thank you for the question. I hope everything's going well for you out there in California. Wonderful. But with the IPOs, you want to wait at least 3 months before you buy them. It's just that's the way it seems to work on them. So it trades best that way. So definitely be a little bit, but definitely watch list this one. Do not buy. I don't think it's a buy right now. Just my opinion. Thanks. Thoughts on NRZ? NRZ. Okay. Let's look at NRZ real quick here. NRZ. New residential. Oh boy. Yeah, I just don't like this sector. I don't think you should be in this sector. I don't like any of the finance. Now, here's the thing. Here's the weird part. I really like the builders right now. I really like the builders because there's a lack of homes out there, especially in the in the big markets like, Texas, of course, is one of them. And Georgia, I think, is another good one. Virginia, the Carolinas are excellent. Up in the, Puget Sound area is good. The home builders are good, like D.H. Horton and Lennar and companies like that. But I just don't like the services. I don't like the lenders, because I think that there's just not enough margin there. This has been rebounding, but it's still not buyable. It's still under the 200-day moving average. This really isn't buyable until the 50-day moves above the 200-day. I just don't think you can buy it right now. I don't even think it's a watch list, to be honest. I'm sorry to be so negative on it, but I can't be positive on this one, because I don't think it's I don't think this NRZ is. I just don't think it's good enough. Now, let's see if let me see OSK. I think I know this one. I think this is OSK. Matter of fact, I may have. Oh, Oshkosh. Yeah. Oshkosh. I don't really know. It's an okay chart. It's actually not bad. The thing about Oshkosh, big manufacturer of police and fire vehicles is Oshkosh. Very good company. This one I think of it as. Yeah. Army trucks, truck bodies, and crane components. Yeah. This is a solid company in a recovery, but I don't think it's time to buy it now. Well, I say it's time to buy it now. No, there's a cup here. It's a very nice. Yeah, this actually might be good. I still think that you need to wait until the 50-day moves above the 200-day, but and on more volume. We've got some. We don't have conviction in it yet. There's been some selling. It looks like it just came through earnings, and it was good. The earnings were excellent, by the way. Just looking at that. The earnings were excellent. So this is definitely the right side. This is a watch list on this one. The last buy point, though, to be honest with you, was a while ago, and the last buy point is 86.45. It's now at 78, so it's definitely a watch list. This is one you want to put on a watch list, because this looks like it may be stronger. Now, the problem with Oshkosh is it needs to be. This is going to do very well if there is a lot of infrastructure spending, and very well may be. It just depends on which party wins the election. Not trying to get political here, but if there is a lot of Infrastructure, Oshkosh will do very, very well. So I just think this one, you got to watch this until we find out more about, about things. We just have to find out more before we'll know. Hey, Primetime. Okay, so Primetime, what website are you using? Well, actually, I'm using a very special website. I'm using something called the Investor's Business Daily, but I'm actually using some professional software here that I use in my own investing. It's called MarketSmith. It's excellent. It's kind of expensive, but it's very good because it has pattern recognition, and I want to be able to bring it to everybody here. As you can see these things that are put on there. These are cups, and these are buy points. And so I used to do all this manually, but this has just speeded up my process so much. I used to just basically take the charts, and I had a protractor and some colored pencils, and I would draw them up, and that's how I do it. But I am using Investor Business Daily. I don't get anything from them. I wish I did. I'd be making a fortune if I did. By the way, if you're interested in the way I trade, there's a system that I use. It's called the CanSlim system, and it was invented by William O'Neill, who I consider one of the greatest stock traders of all time, and he's still alive. He was originally here from Dallas, but he built the Investor Business Daily. I think he's in his late 80s, maybe early. No, I don't think he's 90 yet, but he's getting up there. But he created this awesome system, and it's very worth your time learning it. It basically, the name of the book that you want to get, if you can, go to Half Price Books or wherever you buy books are sold. It's called How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System, Good Times or Bad, by William O'Neill. So, very, very good way to learn about how to do it. And many of the top traders are always using this system. Looks like the AMAT is bouncing off the, okay, very good. Thank you, Grandpa Paul, for that is a great, the two best ways to buy a stock. One is to buy it when it has a cup and handle or a cup or a 3-week tight, when it has what they call a base pattern. The other great way to buy it is when it bounces off the 50-day moving average. So that is a very astute thing that you just said there, Grandpa Paul. It was very good idea, because absolutely it bounced right off of that, and it's right at a pivot. Wowie kazowie. Applied Materials is right at a pivot at 63.74. So this is a very good stock to be in right now. Why is it so good? Well, the reason it's so good, there are many reasons it's so good, but we are in a semiconductor super cycle. It's what they call Moore's Law. Basically, every 18 months, the amounts of the size factor of the chip, the die, it basically shrinks by about 60% of the prior one. So every time this happens, you get a lot more transistors, but you also get a lot of action in the companies that make the equipment that make this possible. And Applied Materials is definitely there. There's basically 3 major companies in this business: Applied Materials, KLA, Tencor, and another company called Lam Research. So these 3 companies are very, very, very important. The typical customers for these are like Texas Instruments or TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, the fabs, the people that make the chips. So right now we're in such a cycle, and this is a very good time to be in something like Applied Materials, because their sales are going to do extremely well. As a matter of fact, they did. They just came through, and there's an excellent, very, very strong buy here above the 50-day moving average. Their earnings per share was up tremendously, 45% above what it was last quarter. So, and I do expect that they're going to have another very strong quarter. They're coming, and they have an excellent formation. It's a cup with a little handle. So that is a very, very, very good thing. So Applied Materials is definitely in the buy zone, and I probably should update my small portfolio, because that might be the best thing to do. Okay. That's what I put out. I put Skyworks, the buy point out of the Skyworks. Okay. So Green Power Motors up 82% today. Correct ticket. Okay. Can you take a look at that? Okay. I'll take a look at it. You know, it typically with stocks that are thinly traded, you do see them move up a lot, but be very careful when you're looking at these, because if they don't have enough volume, they can collapse just as fast as they went up. So let's see if I can get that. It looks as if it's probably, but I can't tell if it, I don't see it. GPV. That's right. Okay. Let me look at this. Okay, so it's GP Green Power Motors, GPVRF. GPVRF. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a pink slip stock. Now, let me explain what a pink slip stock is. A pink slip stock is a stock that doesn't trade on a regular stock exchange. That's what I think this is. Now, I got to do a little bit more research, but this sounds like this trades on the what they call the OTC, over the counter bulletin board. And basically those are basically stockbrokers that have these certificates basically in their drawer, and you call them up. So be very careful in these, because a lot of mining stocks are like this. They tend to be what they call penny stocks, and just be a little bit careful. I may be up 82%, and sometimes you can make a lot of money on penny stocks, but just be extremely careful, because it's sort of not it could be a very dangerous area. But I do not find it listed, so maybe I have it. Maybe I'm typing it in wrong, but I just don't think that, it's probably a pump and dumper, because there's a lot of hype right now around electric vehicles. PennyMac Financial. Interesting. This is not a bad one. I've heard about this one. I haven't really followed this one. It doesn't have anything clearly in terms of a buy. It's at 51.14 right now, but it looks like it's pulling back to the 50-day moving average. And it looks like it's moved up from there, and it does have some good volume. I just don't really have that much of an opinion on this one. The earnings per share were excellent. I think these guys are involved with the student loans, I believe. Production of residential mortgage loans. I apologize. This is a tough area. I don't know if the service, there's another good one in this called Aquin. Let me see if I can get you some alternatives, because I think this is quite a good quite a good one in terms of the chart. But let me just look at it relative to the other ones, because this is such a competitive area. So let me just look at this really quickly to see if I can give you a better take on the kind of this whole sector. This whole sector. So let me look on this PennyMac Financial. And by the way, just while I'm pulling this up on the screen, just everybody out there who is looking at me on TikTok, I am also simulcasting on I'm also simulcasting on YouTube at youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor. And if you want to get on the trade alerts and you're on TikTok, super duper easy. All you do is go to my profile, hit the link, and you'll be put right to the sign up page for the action trade alerts, and you'll be on the action trade alerts. Well, let's look at this. Let's look at PennyMac compared to other stocks in this particular area. And I think June, you've come up with an excellent one. This wasn't on my list, but thank you for this very, very much. This is doing better than Rocket or CoreLogic. So we definitely have a better composite rating here than the two best ones, the one that I'm more familiar with. I haven't really concentrated on this, but I would say this is pretty fabulous. I think you have helped me stumble onto a very good stock here. I think this is a winner. I think this is a winner. So it's at very least it's a watch list stock, and I might buy this one too, because I want to be exposed to the financials as well. But I've been looking for one that just would work, and I think this PennyMac might be the one. So you never know. OSK is running for the next UPS vehicle. Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Adrian. This is a very, very interesting topic, and I think Oshkosh. I know the company a little bit. I'm not familiar with their. I've never driven any of their fire trucks or anything like that, which I'm sure are great. But this is a company that can deliver. What I like about these vehicle companies that you're talking about here, Adrian, is that we're talking about Ford that can deliver. Oshkosh can definitely deliver. A lot of these other companies, like, to be honest with you, like Nikola and stuff like that, they have beautiful brochures, but they haven't delivered anything. So I'd be really careful about this, because in this business, you've got to be able to deliver the vehicles, and it's not so easy. I mean, you can design something really great. It's very hard to build it. I think Oshkosh looks excellent. I've also been, I've talked a little bit about Ford here. I want to take a look at the Ford chart. Now, Ford doesn't, I don't really love the chart, but it's getting better. And I want to show you this Ford chart. The reason I like Ford so much is because they have, I don't know how many $1 billion in the bank, but they've got more than the value of the company in cash, and they can produce a vehicle. And they're starting to move above this 200-day. Now, it's still not buyable, to be honest. Ford isn't buyable, but if the 50-day moves above the 200-day, then it's watch listable and possibly buyable. It's still not really good enough. It only has a relative strength of 32, but this is like a $7 stock, which normally I wouldn't recommend for anything, but this is Ford, and they do have a ton of cash in the bank. If they can get their losses under control, and their earnings per share, they're coming. I suspect they're going to have a loss this time, but it is a very good company, and I think you're right to look at Oshkosh and to look at Ford, because they're kind of competing for this medium truck market, which is a big deal. So thank you very, very much for that. Okay, well, I have come all the way to the end. I think I have one more. Oh, there we go. Can Slim. Yes. That is the name of what you want to look at. It's called Can Slim, and it's the investment system that I use. And by the way, David Ryan, who is one of the greatest traders that ever lived, he's still living. He's actually not that old. Also uses Can Slim, and Gil Morales, and there's a lot of just really Mark McIlvaney uses it. I mean, there's just, if you look at the pantheons of great traders, many of them use Can Slim, so it's definitely worth your time to look at. And it's what I use and what a lot of other top traders use as well. So thank you for that very, very much. Well, I've come to the end of the hour. I will be back tomorrow, of course, but until then, if you want to get on the trade alerts list, super duper easy, just go to DallasTradingFloor.com and just put your name in. It's all free, and we will be back on tomorrow, hopefully with more Tesla news and possibly more Apple news. So I want to bid you adieu.